Gladiator II is directed by Ridley Scott and stars Paul Mescal, Pedro Pascal, Denzel Washington, Connie Nielsen, and Joseph Quinn. This film is a sequel to the 2000 award-winning hit film that starred Russell Crowe, Gladiator. This film is set 16 years after the events of the first movie, after Marcus Aurelius' death. Marcus Aurelius was played by Richard Harris in the first film, and his daughter, Lucia, Connie Nielsen, reprises her role. Not only that, we see Derek Jacobi return as well, who he plays a pivotal role in this. Now we have Paul Mescal in this, who plays Lucius Verus, or aka Hanno, who is the son of Maximus Decimus Meridius, and basically is the rightful heir to, of course, we know what that is. But then he has this thing against Marcus Acacius, played by Pedro Pascal. And not only that, we see Denzel Washington's character as Macarius, who is a former slave but who wants to control Rome any which way he can possible. But then you have the Emperor brothers. Geta is played by Joseph Quinn, and you have Caracalla, who is Fred Hendrickson. And it's just really, really interesting how this film is. Yes, it's an epic historical action film. The movie runs for 148 minutes long and had a budget of $250 to $310 million. The original film, the first movie, was 155 minutes long, the theatrical cut, and the extended version was 171 minutes long. That first film won 5 Academy Awards: Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Visual Effects, Sound, and Costume Design. Now with this film, it's like, okay, is this the best movie of 2024? And I'm going to get that out of the way. It's up there for me. It's probably going to be in my top 3 best films of 2024, and rightfully so. The cast is phenomenal, magnificent, probably better than the first Gladiator movie, even though Russell Crowe is the one that really carried that film on his back. And then in this one, I would say that Paul Mescal really stands on his own against the slew of cast that is around him and the characters. We see what he's going for. We see the aspect of how the character is written. More so like his father, but very, very different in a way. I mean, 16 years later, it's like, okay, Rome is now ruled by the corrupt twin brothers, or the twin emperors. And it's like, that's interesting. While Joaquin Phoenix did play a vicious villain in the first film, I will say that Joseph Quinn as Geta really stood out to me in this a lot. Just the way the makeup is done and how the trajectory of his filmography has gone by seeing him from Stranger Things to now, absolutely mind-blowingly brilliant. The action is there. It's epic. The gladiator fights, the Colosseum fights. You want a naval battle? They fill up the Colosseum with mortar and they have a naval battle. Oh, it's not historically accurate. Who gives a shit? This is a movie. It's entertainment. Enjoy it for what it is. And it's just, the aspect of the fighting is there. The emotion is there in the fighting. And it's just the camaraderie you see and how everyone just wants to do things on their own. But what really stands out is Denzel Washington. Yes, Denzel Washington working with the Scott brothers is so good. He worked with Tony Scott a lot, and now he's working with Ridley Scott. He did a lot of films with Ridley Scott. Denzel Washington, I will say now, will win an Oscar for this movie. Best Supporting Actor. Yes, you heard that first, ladies and gentlemen. He plays Macrinus to a level where it's just very different. You know, it's like, oh, why is there a figure like this in a movie of his skin color? Do your research, do your history first, and then go into it. Look up the history of the Roman Empire. It's so, so good. I dive deep into those aspects of the historical accuracy, and it's like, wow, this is so good. But then I go into this, I'm like, it's just a movie, just enjoy it. And I did that. The 148 minutes does slow down a little bit at parts, but then it revs up with the film and the action sequences. And how it ends, it's friggin' phenomenal. It's just like, whoa. This is an epic film, 24 years in the making, and a sequel that took 24 years to make, and Ridley Scott returning. So, so good. I can see this film getting a slew of nominations during award season, and I really mean that. While the original film had about, I will say, I think close to 12 nominations, this Gladiator II will have about 10 nominations. And the big nominations that it will have will be Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor for Paul Mescal, Best Supporting Actor for Denzel Washington and Pedro Pascal, and maybe Connie Nielsen will get it for Best Supporting Actress. The film will be nominated for costume design, sound, and cinematography, editing, and I will say score. So that's about 10 right there. And it will win Best Director for Ridley Scott and Best Supporting Actor for Denzel Washington. Will it win Best Picture of the Year? It has a chance. I will say it has a 89% chance of winning, which is really, really interesting. But then again, this is going to be the most talked about film of this year. If this does win Best Picture, this could be the second in the history of the Academy Awards as a sequel to win Best Picture. The first film to do that was The Godfather Part 2 after The Godfather. This can win Best Picture. It's The Gladiator 2, and then the first film was Gladiator. So the aspect of seeing characters return and reprise their roles 24 years later, where this story is set 16 years after Marcus Aurelius' death, great. It just doesn't have that older featured character that we know and love, but it's Denzel Washington at his best, Paul Mescal at his best. He is going places. If you've never seen a movie that starred Paul Mescal, check it out now. Pedro Pascal, wow, going places already, and it's just so good to see. And how the aspect of revenge is done again, yeah, you could say, oh, it's just the same movie as the first one, but it's his son, he wants to blah, blah, blah. No. Put that aside. Look at the aspect of how the filmmaking is done. I will say the graphics and the CGI is much more crisper and cleaner. There are some minute details where it's like, ooh, they didn't really, polish that up a little bit. You could say that the first Gladiator had a better outlook on things, but this is a phenomenal movie, and seeing Ridley Scott return to direct it is great, and how the cast just work off each other is fantastic, and Denzel Washington really stands out a lot, and this is the top movie of this year, and in my top 3. For me, Gladiator 2 gets 5 out of 5 stars. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about Gladiator 2. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? What did you think about the aspect of the cast, the story? Did you like it taking place 16 years later after the events of the first film? Do you think that this was a good long time enough to have a sequel come out 24 years later after the first film? Do you think the running time is good? What was your favorite scene? What was your least favorite scene? Do you pay attention to the historical accuracy, or do you just go in and watch it for entertainment? And do you think this film will be big during award season? If so, how many awards and which awards will it win? And also let me know what rating you would give Gladiator 2. So let me know in the comment section below about all the questions I just asked. I'm Mr. Filmstock. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next review video.